Hey, welcome back to Rust Order Garage, and will this be the last video for the truck? I don't know, but let's go over what I have to do since the first drive, and then maybe we'll be done with this thing. All right, so first thing, rear caliper, is it stuck or is it the e-brake? Well, the wheel, I already wiped it off, unfortunately, on the outside, but the mag wheel was covered with brake dust already. Just after a short ride, I got it parked, but the wheel is covered with dust after just, what do we do? 5 miles, 10 miles maybe the other day on the first drive. That's not from the e-brake. So that caliper is no good. I will get that replaced. The other issue, I felt like I had some bumping going on in the front. Both of these tires are out of round. I don't know if I can do it with the phone to show it or not. Without a reference, it's kind of hard to tell. But both of these tires are out of round. There you can see it as it turns. It goes a dip there. Yeah, both of them are like that. So that explains a little bit of a bump I had during the first drive. Let's see if I can get it here. Get the right angle. Hard to tell without holding the phone perfectly straight. But there it is. Yep. So both of these front tires are old, I'm sure, or just been sitting around. Again, I don't remember if I bought these or I threw them on from sitting around. I think that means they're from 2018. All right, so I will get a caliper on order, get some different front tires. I'm not promising that they will be new. In fact, they probably won't be. But we won't talk about it. I'll talk about that. Hopefully I'll just find some round ones in my pile. I don't know. We may have to do this a couple times. Those tires are not going to get thrown away. Those will be spares because they still hold air. And, you know, if you blow a flat tire and you need a spare, that'll work just fine. It'll get you home. So those will be the next things to do. And then when we come back, we'll replace the caliper. Hopefully put some different tires on it and take it out for a ride, and hopefully with some sound, and give you a full feel of it. At least you can hear the exhaust and everything, and maybe by then it'll be warm enough we can try the air conditioning. Although when you turn it on now, it only turns on for about a minute before it gets cold enough on there, and the TC gauge or thermistor or whatever's in there reads that it's cold enough and just turns it off. So we will come back to that. But for now, I gotta wait to get those parts, and then we'll continue this. All right, I have replaced the front tires with new ones. Date code 2020. Little, still 5 years old, but you know what? They're a little more round than the others, so we're gonna run them. And I replaced the rear caliper on the passenger side, so that is resolved. So all that's left to do is sand the bed and calibrate the speedometer. Now, I don't know if I'm going to get the bed done today. I hope I can, maybe later. I'll have to see, because the weather's not looking so good for tomorrow. And right now, you notice the Escalade is not there anymore. It's in here. I'm in the middle of pulling the 4L65 out, and then the 6 liters coming out. And that engine will be for my 72 Nova, and we will cam that and put a 6-speed T56 behind it and do the Nova. But look what else we got. So the other day I was online, got my iced coffee. I'm addicted to this stuff, I tell you. I was online and people were complaining about LS swaps and saying how expensive it was. And I'm like, buddy, I can do an LS swap for $1,000 any day. And of course, there's always that one troll, you know, saying that's that's bullshit. There's no way you can possibly do that. Well, yeah, I can. I just gave you the whole formula to build a $5,000 truck, and the LS swap was a very small portion of it. And here's another one that's going to get used as a donor. But here you go. This is how you do a cheap LS swap. You have to buy a donor vehicle, and you have to be ready with cash when something pops up that's just a great deal. This is a 2004 Silverado 5.3 four-wheel drive, which I'd rather not have a four-wheel drive, which, you know, that's because I'm going to have to convert the transmission to two-wheel drive. But other than that, this truck runs and drives. It will not pass inspection in New York because it has rusted frame, so it's not going to make it. And that's what happens in the Northeast. They all have rotted frames. But a 5.3 complete. It's got 169,000 miles on it. And when you look at these trucks, you know, to see if it's would be a good donor, just look at the overall condition. The seat is not destroyed. It has normal wear. You know, you see something with chunks out of the seat and the foam's all coming out, you know that truck was run pretty hard. The interior is still very clean. There's key in it, keys in it. Fires right up. Oil pressure's good. Says it has no gas. It may not have any gas, or it may just be a bad setting unit, which is common. What do we got on this? 169,000 miles. Not a problem. It's going to be a great donor. And of course, if you're buying one of these as a donor, the most important thing is the engine and transmission. And maybe you're not going to use a transmission. You know, if up here in the Northeast, a 4x4 transmission is worth money. Maybe you want to sell it and find a two-wheel drive. That's up to you. But, you know, check your oil levels, check your transmission fluid, check your coolant, make sure it's not low. The normal stuff, because that's what's important to you. Then the next thing is, based on the cost of the truck, what can you sell? Now, myself, anything like this pops up that's $1,000 or less, I'm interested, because even if I can't get all the money back selling parts, if you can get most of it back, say I bought this truck for $700, which I did, I can sell $700 worth of parts off this truck, no problem, including, you know, the scrap value, what's left. This engine and transmission, wiring harness that I'm not going to use, and lots of miscellaneous things, like you've seen me use this brake booster on the 56 Chevy. I can use this power brake booster. All this kind of stuff can be yours for free. And even if I bought this truck for $1,000 and I sold $700 worth of stuff for $300 to get everything you need, well worth it. And like I said, this is a good donor because it's obviously it was somebody's driver. It's not something that was just used as a plow truck or beat to death. The bed on it is good. That's worth a good chunk of change. I'll get at least $400 just for the bed. The doors are not rusty. The 03 up transfer cases are worth more than the 99 to 02 because seems to be more of these trucks running around that need the transfer cases. So that'll sell. What else? The seats are decent. Those will sell. There'll be $700 out of this truck, no problem. But this is the key to doing a low dollar LS swap. If you have to go out and buy everything individually, you will nickel and dime yourself to death. It's just so much better and easier and bucks ahead to do it this way. And I understand not everybody has a place to part out a vehicle, but if you're smart and you're fast, you could cut one of these up, you know, in a few days. Get everything you want out of it, get it parted out, and then have somebody just come take it away if you can't scrap it. Get something for it. It's definitely the way to go. So in my opinion, this is the way to go to start your LS swap. Get yourself a donor. You're still gonna need to do a fuel system, And I've gone over that in videos too, how to do it low buck. You don't have to use AN line and AN fittings if you don't want. And you also don't have to spend big dollars on like a Holley retrofit system to put into your tank. It just isn't needed. If you can find a factory fuel injection tank that'll work, it can save you a lot of money. The other way is to use a surge pump. And I will be going over that. That's similar to, if you check out my videos on the 55 Buick with the turbo, I put a surge tank in that, so I'd never have to worry about uncovering the fuel pickup under acceleration. Even with a fuel injection tank, the surge pump takes care of all that. So if you had a car with a non-fuel injection tank, a surge pump will do what you need to do, and you don't have to spend that big dollar on the Holley system or anybody else who makes a retrofit setup. And I will be going over that as well, because I do have at least one car here that I'm going to use a factory carbureted tank and a surge pump system. But if you want to see how the surge system works, again, check out the 55 Buick Turbo series. I go over the whole deal with installing the surge tank, the surge pump, wiring it up, and how it all works. So this truck will just sit here for now because I don't need this engine out of here right now. I'm going to keep this as complete as long as I can, and we've got other engines already pulled to deal with, like the 6.0 coming out of the Escalade. That's, like I said, we're going to throw a sloppy stage 2 cam in it because I already have it, the springs, and do the cam swap, and that's going to the Nova. But I still have a couple things to do on the truck. I would like to today, if I can, get it out, get the speedometer calibrated. And if I can get the bed sanded today, great. I don't know if it's going to happen, but we'll try to at least get the speedometer calibrated. But for now, I'm going back in and get that 6-liter ready to come out. All right, there's the 4L65 out of the Escalade. This had never been off before because the usual thing what happens when they're originally on there and not removed is the dowel pins on the engine stick to the transmission. I don't know why. Only on LS stuff have I run into this, but what I do is use a torch. If you don't have a torch, MAP gas or something, and spray a bunch of heat in here to heat up the pin, and then you can get the transmission to break free. You got to be gentle with it, kind of wiggle it with a pry bar, a little bit each side, and get it off, and it'll break free. But if they fall right out, it usually means the transmission's been rebuilt or it's been out for some reason. So we'll keep this aside. This is not going to go in the Nova, obviously, but I want to convert this to 2-wheel drive and put it in something else. Well, didn't get it done yesterday, or rather I didn't get to work on the 56 yesterday. I got all this done yesterday. So the 6-liter is out of the Escalade. It is ready to get crushed. And you know, the funny thing is I looked in the glove box to get the RPO sticker, and guess what this thing cost new? I found the window sticker in the glove box in the owner's manual with all this stuff. Big 12 mile per gallon pig, 15 on the highway. Boy, that's pretty bad. And the total price for this thing out the door, $52,500. Is that insane? That's how much money they lost since 2002 to 2025. And actually, I bought this in 2024. So 22 years, and I bought it for $1,000. All right, time to get this thing crushed. I'll see if I can get any video of the claw. All right, time to go across the scale. Let's see what this thing weighs. See what I get back on it, since I bought this truck for $1,000. I'm at 11,340 pounds right now. That's heavy.
claw is going to get it, but unfortunately. There she goes. All right, that is it for the Escalade donor truck. After sitting around for a good year, good to see it gone. That thing weighed almost 4,000 pounds, 3,880 pounds. Now, I had some scrap metal in it, but wow, that thing was heavy. Heavier than I thought it would be. So, good riddance. Now, I should be able to get the 56 bed sanded today and the speedometer calibrated, because it was supposed to be a lousy day, but now the sun's out, so at least something went right. All right, the weather has been ridiculously strange today. 1 minute it's beautiful out, the next minute it's freaking raining. Can't keep track. Anyway, I got to try to get something done. Today's the day. This is just too much to do, and every time I delay, something else happens I got to take care of. So let's get the bed sanded and get that done and off the list. Okay, so I'm knocking the shine off of it and going through to metal in a couple spots, you know, kind of match the cab a little bit. But you can see this has been drying now for, I don't know, a week plus, right? I don't remember when I painted this. It's been a while. See what it does to the paper? Just clogs it. Use a hardener with this stuff and then it'll sand like a normal paint. So this is going to take a little bit. I'm just going to knock it out and we'll come back after it's kind of flat black. All right. Spray some primer. Knock it down like that. Looks something like the rest of the truck. Not bad. All right, it's starting to rain again, so I think that'll be it for the moment. It's supposed to pass when I pull the truck back in. That's all I wanted, just a couple little primer spots. The cab and nose are, said, a little rough. Kind of matches a little better now. We'll pull it back in. All right, good to go. This is actually from the water. Dust. Looks much closer to what the rest of the truck does. Got a little bit on the gate. A little bit on this side. And that's good enough for now. Good enough. Can always play with it later. So I think the last thing I'll do now, as soon as this little rainstorm here passes, I think it's about done. Let's check the speedometer and get that thing calibrated. All right, we're gonna go down the road and see what the speedometer is doing here. Pretty accurate, at least as far as the PCM sees. PCM's a little faster, but not by much. So it looks like it's just the speedometer itself I'm gonna have to calibrate. right, so the speedometer is, or I should say, the PCM and the tune are close enough. Like 3 miles an hour difference, not going to make a difference. Now I've got the instructions to calibrate the actual speedometer on my phone here. So I'm just looking at it. I know I have to drive a mile. So I have a spot that I know is about a mile. We'll try that. So stop at the beginning of the measured mile with the vehicle running in the odometer mode. Press and hold the push button until the odometer displays high speed. Maybe that's the wrong button. What, the left one? Yep, it's the left one. Okay. Oop. Let me, okay, it says high speed. It will then cycle through the following order: 0 to 60, quarter, odometer, and cal. While cal is displayed, quickly tap the push button once. Okay, so I got to be on top of this now. So hold it until it says high speed. There's a 0, 0 to 60, 0. Well, you're just gonna take my word for it. And I'm doing this because this camera mount that I bought, I had you stuck on the back window, just fell for the second time, and before it breaks the phone, I'll try it on the windshield for now. There may be dust on the back window, but right now I'm just gonna try to get this thing to get into calibrate mode. I'm holding the left button once till it's at high speed. Now it's cycling through 0 to 60, quarter mile. This is gonna do quarter mile times, which is cool. D, whatever that is. Cal. Okay. Was I supposed to hit it once or twice? I hit it once. That was not right. Okay, let's try this again. Okay, I hit it twice. I don't know if I was supposed to do it twice. Okay, now it's ready for calibration. Drive a mile. At the end of the mile, stop and push the button again. Let's see what happens. And hopefully you don't go falling down. At least here, I think I can catch you. Let's see. Okay. I don't know if that was right. We're gonna go for a drive. I don't know if I can get you. There's dust on this window. Let me try. Right, let's try this again. Despite the rattle, which is rattle. Is it the window? Yep. I gotta get window fuzzies. I gotta get window fuzzies for this truck. All right, let's see if the speedometer is accurate now. Should be much better. Let's see. 40 on the speedo, 46 on GPS. So we're not quite there yet. About 5 miles an hour slow. So I'm just going to drive to another spot. This speedometer, since it displays the actual counts, It's pretty easy to calibrate then because I know what I have to do to adjust it. About 5 miles an hour slow on the speedometer. Alright, unfortunately, I don't think there's any way I can do this and have you see what I see. I can show you how to get into calibration mode. Let me see. The right button is for, I think, for calibrating the tach or something, but the left button is the one I'm using, the odometer button. I'm going to hold that down until it says high speed, and then it's going to cycle through some stuff. This thing will actually give you quarter-mile time, 0 to 60 time if you want, but when it hits cal, I have to hit this button twice. And I'll just let you see it first. See a 4414? That's the counts per mile that it had stored since that last run I did. But what I'm going to do is put it back into calibrate mode again. So it's going to cycle through. And after the D, it's going to go to cal. So I'm going to hit this twice. Okay, now it's on 0. I'm going to drive until that reads 4,000, and then I'm going to stop and press this button again. And the reason I believe 4,000 is the magic number, or close to it, is because it comes factory set at 8,000 and it was reading like half speed. So I'm going to drive until that says 4,000, and I'm going to pull over. Put it right on 4,000, actually 4,002. And I think we're good now. So, get on a flat road where I can look. 130. Trying to get even numbers. Let's see. All right, I'd say we've got the speedometer right on. So now, what this truck needs is window fuzzies.
So I think that is officially it. I still want to put a glass kit in the truck, some window fuzzies, but that's not getting done right now. I can drive the truck as is, just like this, no problem. Although I do have to balance the front tires because I still have a shake at high speeds that I don't like. Probably needs an alignment too, but it does track straight, so we'll check it out. But that's all just normal stuff after a build. No big deal. It is time to start moving on to other things. So, other things. I have lots of other things to do here. So you see this Malibu here that I bought. If you saw the short, I bought this a while back. This is the next donor that needs to get cut up. And what I'm keeping from this car is the rolling chassis. Because among other things that I will be doing, like putting the 6.0 6-speed in the Nova, I need to build this car. Now, I don't know if it was going to be a full build to start. This car must be built. And it is going to be a chassis swap, believe it or not. Not something I generally do. We'll talk about that when the time comes. This is a 1961 Rambler classic wagon. I think it would be the ultimate swap meet hauler. And I have some different plans for drivetrain in this thing. And I think it's going to be fun. But before I end, I will show you one thing that'll explain and maybe let you understand why it is getting a chassis swap, even though this is a unibody car. Oh, this car is so cool. I love it. Other than the raccoon that ate that seat. That's a problem. But, oh man, does it stink too. I haven't been in here in a while. Whew. But, will this explain why it needs a frame? There's the front wheel. Rambler. So anyway, just a teaser of stuff that I am going to do coming up. I'm not going to do a full car build right now. I don't know if I said it before, but I figured it out over the last 12 years. I think I've done like 10 builds. Now, obviously not all on YouTube because I just started on YouTube a couple years ago, but I need a rest. So what I'm going to do is work on things and move them along, but I don't know if I'm going to like do it completely. Like the Nova, we're going to put the LS in there, the 6.0 with the 6-speed and the cam, make it run and drive, and I'm probably going to stop right there. I'm not going to do the body work right now and worry about all the details, but I'm just going to make it go forwards and backwards, and then I can come back to it later and continue on. Then I must do this. I love this car, and it's been sitting for probably 2 years, and I've never put a frame under a unibody before. I know it's really rusty in the unibody. The body is straight, but it's going to be a lot of fabrication, not difficult, but just a lot of work. That G-body chassis is the perfect wheelbase, perfect track, and I've already measured the frame rails, and they're gonna fit under there pretty well. And I think it's all gonna work out just fine. But we'll see. It's all gonna be a learning experience. We're gonna just do it, that's all. And the one car here that is gonna be a full build, I just don't know when, but I must do it, is the 39 Oldsmobile. Man, I love this car. And what I want to do with it is, other than a new windshield, pretty much look exactly like that, but of course, update the wiring, update the drivetrain, upgrade the fuel system, make it a daily drivable car, but look just like that. So that is it for now. Look, another Denali. Another 6-liter. We got 6 liters. So yeah, that's gonna be it for the moment. I've got to get this car moved into position to start selling parts off it so I can get my money back on buying it. And then while that's going on, I'm gonna get the 6-liter on a stand. We're gonna do a bunch of stuff to it. I'll go over it more than you would think, because it's a 2002, which is kind of a weird year for the 6-liter as far as drive-by-wire and all that. So we'll go all over all that stuff when it happens. I don't want to get rambling off too much on a tangent if I haven't lost you already. But anyway, thank you very much for watching. Thank you for following along. Thank you for following along for I don't know what's going to happen next. And thank you so much for subscribing. It's a lot of fun. At least I'm having fun. Whether you watch or not, I'm going to do it. So see you on the next one. Later.